receive all the international tourist visitors. In terms of economic restructuring, I have already said that the industrial has moved out, service sector has been strengthened because of Olympic Games, and foreign direct investment moved in quickly. So you see there is a big increase in terms of FDIs and also in terms of service sectors. But for tourist sector, it's a very mixed story. Although for most of the Olympic cities, tourist growth will be the most expected result, but not in Beijing, because there were some controversies beforehand, political controversies. So actually they have tightened up all the restrictions and measures. Which the result is that less tourists come into China and come into Beijing. And the funny thing is, this growth, tourist growth, has been suppressed actually artificially. So after the Olympic Games, the tourist sector has an explosive growth in the last 2 years, actually, from 2009 to 2010, because the domestic tourists all come into Beijing, and not the Great Wall and not the Forbidden City, but the bird net and the water cubic become the #1 attraction for all tourists from China. So that's a quite new development. Yeah, just come in. What, do you have another one?
Yes, I'm meeting here at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock?
Yeah.
Oh, so I have just to run that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So for social development, there are some development in terms of social facilities and mass volunteers. There have been some programs for low-income people in terms of some subsidy for low-income people, and also for their health, some like the monthly medicines. Because my brother also benefited from that one. But for the rest, it's limited. In terms of effect, I think I have already explained quite a lot. Especially, they have created this new urban center that was developed after or during the Asian Games, but it's very much developed because of the Olympic 2008. And the infrastructure development has increased a lot of the accessibility of the whole city. What has been improved is also the public space. The post-use of the sports venue remains to be seen, because the two biggest venues are supposed to be the sports venue, but actually the 75% of their main income is from tourism. So it's quite a strange combination now. And because of the development, so some buildings have to be turned down, especially the village has to be moved away. And in the south part, although the government didn't spend that much time and doing more projects, real estate development have done a lot. So which caused a lot of controversy in terms of relocation and related conflicts. Because the north has been already very good, and they are even better now, and the south, leaving the south far behind. So that's another difficult thing for Beijing now. The segregation between the north and south become more apparent. And I think for the green, I will not go into detail, just see some of the reviews, but you can see that most of them are still tourism. There are some parts, in some occasionally football games. Economic restructuring, I say the service sector has become a lot stronger in the last 8 years. And they have some short-term economic growth, especially they have created 600,000 jobs during these 8 years. Real estate is booming, housing price is going high, but for normal people it's really big burden, because the price is sometimes 3 times folded. So it's quite a big difference. And with social dimension, I already talked about all this, but I think the general thing that they have concerned a lot in terms of how to make people support the game, and they have made some small adjustments So low-income people can benefit from this game, but in general it's quite absent from the general social agenda, especially about social housing issues. So if you look at this case and compare with the research model I had shown you in the beginning, you can see in Beijing actually most of the point has been touched upon, whether it's good or
Sorry,
not.
we have a meeting here at 2 o'clock. Yeah?
Yeah, just to finish, that is not. Okay. So Beijing, after the game, has a few months difficulties, but I think now they have found some new input. So the mayor's new word is we would like to become a new world city. Actually, for some, they are already a world city, but to have a really further development in their service sector and in terms of their status in the global urban network. But they have created certain legacies in urban development process, especially in the north part, but they haven't so far failed to make the home city as developed as integral part. I think that's still a lot thing to do. But what is remain is do they still have the capacity to further develop them and to further integrate all different three aspects and to develop all of them instead of only focus on one or two issues. I think that still remains to be seen. Okay, this is finished. I think we are really